If you're in a low paid or minimum wage job and you're struggling financially, I'd like to share with you some tips that I used when I was in very low paid jobs. Now, I'm not a financial expert and I have no qualifications in finance, I just want to stress that. But for the first 10 years of my life, I was in very low paid jobs. Now, during that time, I was never in debt. I didn't have a credit card, I managed to save, and I never had to take out any loans. So listen to these tips and see if you think you can learn something from this. Okay, number one is your housing. Okay, now I always house shared. When I lived out of home, I always lived in a shared house with other people. People would often nag me into renting a flat on my own, but it would have been financial suicide because I'd been overspent before I started with the bills and everything else. I would not have been able to do it, it would not have been sustainable. So if you have the option, I would house share or move back with your parents if that's another option. Number two is your transport. Now, I had the same car for about 15 to 18 years. I had a Nissan Micra. It was cheap, reliable. People would often nag me into buying a new car, but I never did because I've always had second-hand cars. They've always been fine. The problem is if you take out a PCP deal or a new car, you're going to be paying very high repayments and the car is going to depreciate over time. By the time you have to hand it back over the 4 years, it's going to be worth a fraction of what you paid for it. And to me, it's just a waste of money. I mean, if you really do want a new car, fine, but just bear in mind it's going to come at a cost and it's not going to be new forever. And number three is to shop frugally. Okay, I always shopped in places like Tesco's, Lidl's, Aldi. I never shopped in like the higher end supermarkets because one, I just thought they were really overpriced, and secondly, I didn't find the quality of food that much better. I'd often go at the end of the day, I'd buy a little and often, and I'd often buy the yellow sticker labels. 9 times out of 10, there's nothing wrong with it. Just have a look, have a smell, check that the food's okay. Some of my housemates would do a massive shop for the whole week, and then by the end of the week, the food would start going off, and they'd often throw away like half of what they bought, and they'd waste the money. So these things work for me. If you're welcome, see if they work for you. But I personally stuck to these, and these things really improved my life. So if you're in a low paid job, it is hard. I know exactly what it's like because I was stuck in that cycle for years. But just be sensible with your money and just look at ways that you can improve your life without getting you into a ton of debt.